Let's take a look at this article from The Guardian anticipating major protests, obviously, this week in Chicago. Angry and frustrated pro-Palestinian protesters gear up for the Democratic Convention. Outside the Democratic National Convention next week, organizers expect tens of thousands of people to march in Chicago to pressure the party to stop the war in Gaza. Inside the convention, uncommitted delegates plan to push anti-war demands in hope of winning more allies to the cause. The two movements show the continued fractures among Democratic voters, even at a time of increased unity. Yes, the vibes are strong around Kamala. Major unity vibes going on in the Democrat Party now. The anti-war movement has planned for Democratic convention demonstrations for months. Joe Biden's decision not to continue his re-election campaign and Kamala Harris's ascension to the top of the ticket have not hindered those plans. Damn right they haven't. Voters who cast protest votes in the Democratic primaries in several states won 30 delegates. They're talking about the uncommitted, who are now headed to the convention. Minnesota won the most uncommitted delegates with 11. Others come from Michigan, Washington, Hawaii, and more. The 30 uncommitted delegates, a small number of the more than 4,000 total Democratic delegates, will use the Democratic convention process to try to convince Harris delegates to join them in pressuring the party to include a ceasefire in the Democratic convention platform. I should have had the Rappaport sound drop ready for that one. The delegates include longtime community organizers well-versed in using their voices. Some see the vice president as at least more open to the movement, though her campaign has indicated she does not support an arms embargo that would end U.S. support for the war, one of the key planks for uncommitted delegates. It's unbelievable. They must teach you in journalism school how to write a self-contradictory paragraph and sound intelligent doing it, because that's what that is. Some see the vice president as more open to the movement. However, she's not going to end the war. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of insane. The effort to
That's how you get a job.
Exactly. That's how you do it. The effort to influence the platform internally is separate from the external protests, which combine anti-war demands with a host of other progressive issues, such as abortion access and anti-police brutality. The Chicago area is home to the country's largest Palestinian population in the United States. I did not know that. I thought it was Dearborn, Michigan. I guess that's largest per capita, but I guess in terms of just total population, Chicago is number one. Man, you talk about a happy accident. I mean, they plan the convention here years out, but
right.
I mean, that just is going to compound the level of action in the streets, that this is the largest Palestinian population of any city in the country.
Yeah.
Bridgeview, Illinois. Sorry,
what's the site I sent it to? AJ?
Well, that stands for Al Jazeera, so that was an Al Jazeera video. Yeah.
Oh. You know what? I didn't even realize that was an Al Jazeera video. Yeah, they did a really good video on that. It's about 10-minute mini documentary. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get down there while I'm here.
Yeah. Bridgeview, Illinois, yeah, you should, is known as Little Palestine. Local communities have turned out for dozens of protests since the war in Gaza began last October, and locals are expected to show up during the Democratic Convention protests. A coalition of more than 200 groups planned the March on the DNC, which is behind protests scheduled for Monday and Thursday at Union Park. So day 1 and day 4 are the big ones. There's plenty going on in between, but Monday and Thursday are the big ones near the convention site to bookend the convention. The group is still wrangling with the city to secure a longer protest route and speaker space, given the high numbers of protesters expected. Hatem Abudaya, a spokesperson for the coalition to march on the DNC, which is tomorrow, Monday, when this clip drops, that'll be today, predicted there will be tens of thousands who attend a protest at some point during the week. Aside from the 2 March on the DNC demonstrations, there are also protests planned by other groups for Sunday and Wednesday. We're getting stories about mobilization everywhere, especially in the Midwest on a daily basis, Abudaya said. Every day, there's another bus that's being reserved and another city that's telling us that they're coming with some folks. And so that's why we think it's going to be pretty big. The switch at the top of the ticket did not change the coalition's plans. The day the president announced he wouldn't continue his run, the coalition met on Zoom to discuss next steps. Not one organization of the more than 200 involved said, we think we should pull back on this. Not one organization said we're going to leave the coalition, he said. Good for them. The protests call for an end to the war in Gaza and to U.S. aid to Israel, though they also advocate for immigrants, workers' rights, reproductive rights, and LGBTQ plus rights and police accountability, Abudaya said. Iman Abdulati, a professor and speaker at a Sunday protest organized by bodies outside of unjust laws, is a lifelong Democrat who has driven people to the polls and canvassed for Democratic candidates. She plans to participate in protests throughout the week. She will not vote for Donald Trump, but she could choose a third-party candidate if Harris doesn't shift on Gaza. Kamala Harris hasn't signaled any policy shifts, Abdulati said. She's had a different tone than President Biden, but she hasn't actually offered anything different. So it's very important, I think, for the Democratic Party to understand that a large swath of its base is angry, frustrated, and wants to see a real change. So that's what's going on out on the streets. Inside the venue, here is a general overview of the headline speakers. We plan to be covering all of these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, starting between 8:30 and 9. We're going to, hopefully they're going to publish a list of times where the speakers are going to be going, but that's the tentative schedule. So Monday, for the people, look at this. You talk about a nightmare blunt rotation. Listen to this. Biden and Joe Biden, along with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and a welcome from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, burying the incumbent president on night one. Man, they really threw him under the bus hard and fast, did they not? Stick him with Hillary Clinton on night one. You talk about making a good first impression, right? Night two, a bold vision for America's future.
Wait till they see Hillary. People love Hillary.
Yeah, right. It'll remind them what could have been. Former President Obama, Michelle is also speaking on Tuesday night. That has been confirmed in the hours since this tweet went out. Plus, second gentleman Doug Emhoff, with a welcome from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. On Wednesday, a fight for our freedoms. Obviously, Tim Walz delivers his acceptance speech, preceded by former President Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Pete Buttigieg. Man, that is another brutal night. That is a brutal night. That's worse than the first one. That's worse than Biden and Hillary. Pelosi, and Buttigieg all in a row. Damn, that is brutal.
Look, if Kamala wins, one day they're going to be playing videos of that for the entire staff of the Daily Wire with their eyes clamped open, Clockwork Orange style. Yeah. Now I see I've changed.
Yeah.
Shut it off.
I mean, that is absolutely brutal. And then Thursday, obviously, VP Harris accepted the nomination for president.
All right. I'm sorry. I've just got to say, I can't say this enough. This is the party that keeps running around talking about how much they care about women and we've got to stop these Republicans who don't respect women. And they keep putting serial molester, probable rapist Bill Clinton on a stage to represent them.
Exactly.
How do you do that? How do you do that? And people are supposed to take you seriously when you claim to care about women's issues. When you can't, you keep wanting to talk about Donald Trump's crimes, his crimes against women, his sexual assaults. You're putting Bill Clinton on stage again.
Yeah. No, it is.
They did that at the height of Me Too in 2020. Absolutely. They put him on stage.
No, it's unbelievable how that just gets memory hold. It's just incredible. It was incredible to me in 2016. I could not believe it. And it remains incredible to this day. That was one of the real red pill moments for me, was finding out about the accusations against him. I had not heard the name Juanita Broaddrick until 2015. And that was a real red pill moment for me because not only was I horrified by the accusation and that it was totally, it seemed just totally credible. Everyone who's interviewed her says she's totally credible. Christopher Hitchens said, he interviewed her and he was no doubt that she's being honest.
I think that story broke in 1999.
Yeah, no, it broke in the late 90s.
Yeah,
it broke in the late 90s, But I, as someone who had been pretty tuned in politically, didn't find out until I was almost 30. So that was a big red pill moment for me, not just in terms of like who Bill Clinton was and who a lot of the Democratic voters were who knew about this and sort of memory hold it, but it also was a real red pill in terms of like what the media was, because I had considered myself informed up to that point. And when I realized, wow, there's this really plausible rape accusation against Bill Clinton and no one seems to care, I was like, wow, these people I've been listening to, not only for the news, but for some sense of like moral and philosophical perspective, they're not so trustworthy because they hid this from me. That's what I felt. That's how it felt to me.
Juanita Broderick is another example of something we've talked about, where you get these people who start off being, if not left in the sense that we would mean it, at the very least liberal.
She was a Democrat. She was volunteering for Bill Clinton in that campaign in the 70s.
That was how he met her and assaulted her.
Yeah.
And allegedly assaulted her. I believe that he did. That's how these people wind up aligning with the right wing. Right. Because how can you not want to burn everyone associated with that party to the ground after they've treated you this way?
Right.
And meanwhile, you're going to have their political enemies giving you succor, giving you comfort, giving you platforms.
Right.
I've seen it again. I've seen Juanita Broderick align more and more with other right-wing positions over time, because that's what's going to happen.
Of course.
These are the people who are listening to you, who are supporting you. You're going to start to more and more echo their opinions on other matters.
Of course. Of course. How could you blame them? Totally natural. All right, folks. So here is the only schedule that matters, our schedule. So this is the DueDissidence lineup for the week. Live from Chicago, 8/18, 7 p.m. That's tonight, the DNC preview show, and other stuff. We have a lot of other stuff to get to as well. We'll be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, these times are tentative and subject to change because there's going to be a lot of chaos going on. But this is the preliminary schedules. Make sure you join our Substack, DueDissidence.substack.com, and be on our newsletter, because we will send you out an email as soon as we know if and when there is a change. We will send an email out a couple hours before every stream. But in case of an impromptu stream and there's a change, you really want to be on our newsletter. It's free. It's free to join. If you can kick in $5 a month, it helps tremendously, but you don't have to. You get the newsletter for free. This is how you're going to be on top of this schedule here. So 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow is the Coalition March on the DNC. That is a Rumble exclusive stream, so make sure you're following us on Rumble as well. Night 1, reaction and commentary, starts at 8:30 p.m. That's Mystery Science Theater. We're going to watch Hillary Clinton's speech. That's going to be a grand old time, isn't it? Man, I picked the wrong week to try and get healthy and not drink as much. But I'm sticking to it. 8/20, August 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern.
The Democratic Party. 10 years without a rape accusation.
Yeah. 2 p.m. Eastern on the 20th, that's Tuesday, we will have a supporter stream for members only. That is going to be the Russell Dobular Kit Cabello Pizza Summit, streamed exclusively for paid members. We will have a short clip of that to put out on the socials, of course, so that everybody can get a taste of it. But the full thing, the full deep dish pizza, that is available for paid members as a supporter stream at 2 p.m. Eastern. So become a paid Substacker and boom, join us.
Again, there's a place everybody mentions here. Even Jimmy said it. It's not Giordano's. It's like Il Mel some shit. Some shit. So it's like some Italian name. And they all. I was going to say,
mention we're doing it for the show. Maybe they'll give you a free pizza. But now that you call it some shit, I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it.
I'm talking about the name. I'm not talking.
No, I know. I'm just talking. Yeah, this is places from some shit. On the 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern, Worker Strike Back rally. That'll be a Rumble exclusive as well. We'll be on the ground with our friend Nick Cruz. Shama Sawant's going to be there. Jill Stein is going to be there. We are going to be covering the Worker Strike Back rally. That is a Rumble exclusive. On the 20th, 8:30 p.m., night 2, reaction and commentary, reacting to the headline speakers. On the 21st, at 5 Eastern, is the Chicago for Palestine March. That's a Rumble exclusive as well. On the 21st, obviously, the evening, we have the reaction and commentary to the headline speakers. And then the final march to the DNC, 6 p.m. Eastern, Rumble exclusive. on Thursday, and then we are live again on all platforms at 9 p.m. Like I said, it's going to be a chaotic situation, so these times are subject to change. So please join the newsletter so you are on top of everything. You will not miss a beat if you are subscribed to our Substack, which is free to join. But yeah, we have a hell of a week coming up, and we are pretty psyched.
It's very hard to plan. Like, I haven't even seen the wall keeping the migrants from the DNC delegation from the surrounding population yet. So it's hard to say. When we do these evening things, we might do it remotely from if people are gathered protesting outside the United Center. Then again, watching that video, that's going to be people's neighborhood. Like, are the cops just going to clear that? Are they even going to allow people to be on the other side of that wall?
Right.
They're using to protect themselves from the adoring public. I don't know. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see starting tomorrow. After tomorrow, I think we'll have a much better idea of how to cover this.
Yes. Yeah. The first day will be a day where we'll get our bearings, and we're on at 1 o'clock, if not a little earlier. So like I said, make sure you are subscribed to our newsletter to stay up to date on all of that.
Please clap.